Hi, this is Carl Polachuk with Small Biz Thoughts, and this is another SOP video for managed service providers. Today we're going to talk about employee onboarding. And just like learning to swim, sink or swim usually is not a very effective way of teaching people how to swim. So sink or swim should not be the approach that you take to onboarding a new employee. Remember that the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So, if your branding is all about the way that you do the things that you do in your company, you should start out your employees on the right foot by doing something right, having processes and procedures, and setting them up to be successful. Don't just have somebody sitting around all day following you around because you didn't think in advance of what you wanted them to do when they showed up. You should have a process and a procedure in place. First of all, there's some paperwork, hiring paperwork that needs to be done, direct deposit information and so forth. Second, you should have some training. You should have something about this is what our office looks like, this is where the garbages are, this is where the bathrooms are, this is what we do about lunch breaks, here's the kitchen, right? Some introduction, and then an actual training on here's our PSA, here's our RMM, these are your logins, this is how you get your email. If you let people come in remotely from home, how do they get access to that, so forth and so on. You should have a document with each of these things outlined. It doesn't have to go into great detail, but you should give them something. Next, you should do shadowing. So shadowing simply means the new employee is going to follow one person around for a little while, kind of see how things are done. That person can explain, this is how we put notes in the system, this is how we monitor the board, this is how you get authorized to work on a ticket, so forth and so on. Part of the never-ending training is that when somebody's learning something new, they first watch somebody do it, then somebody watches them do it, and then they can do it on their own. So you need to begin that process on day one. One of the things I talk about in volume 2 of my SOP series is the checklist that you should go through with a new hire. You should have a series of forms for them to fill out, new hire paperwork, confidentiality agreement, a list of equipment that they're going to check out like keys and that sort of thing, so that you've got all of these forms ready to go, and that way you really have kind of filled up the first day of a new employee and they've got something to do and they feel productive. Now, no one is going to be 100% billable or even 50% billable the first week on the job. So don't expect that. But you can expect them to start to come up to speed almost immediately if you have a process in place. Remember, in the long run, employees are always going to be the single most expensive thing in your company. So don't waste their time and your money by having them sit around doing nothing. Again, you need to fine-tune your process, but you should at least have a process so that you have an effective onboarding and you actually work on building your team and building a positive impression for your new employees, starting immediately. For Small Biz Thoughts, this is Carl Polachuk, wishing you all the best in your managed service business.